Hey, it's Coulter from 102.1 The Edge with another Sofa Beach session featuring Tyler Bancroft from Said the Whale. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So, right off the top, let's talk about your new single, Return to Me. What does it mean to you, and what are you trying to tell us with this song?
Yeah, that's a good question that I haven't had to articulate yet because we haven't been in. This is the first ever interview about this song. The song is about love. It's like a love story, and it's based actually on the loss of a family member that I experienced when I was in high school. And that's sort of like the scene being set just as the ambulance took her away from me. And so it's kind of a heavy song about the death of a loved one, and then sort of like a fictional tale with this person who dedicates their life to their lost loved one, and finishes their life, I guess, on their deathbed, proclaiming their love. That's the story.
Well, and what's so interesting about this is that the lyrics are, and you just admitted to it, like they're, I mean, a little sad, but you disguise them so cleverly with such a bright melody. Like I remember listening to this thing the first couple of times, just going like, oh, this is like kind of like a fun, uplifting song. I could like kind of picture this in a car commercial almost. And then I'm listening closer to the lyrics going like, oh no, like there's really something here.
That's kind of the Said the Whale way. We tend to write like emotionally dense songs, masked in upbeat poppy melodies. So that's how we do.
Staying true to form. I like it. Well, this is Said the Whale performing Return to Me.
Just as the ambulance took her away from me, I put a note inside a pocket and it read, the next time you see me, we'll be in heaven. I always told you that I love you till we're dead. So I wrote you 1,000 love songs. I played them all across the world and back again. I sang them softly, I sang with passion. I sang to keep you safe and stuck inside my head. Now I'm 100, I think that's enough for me. I've done it all and now I'm ready for the end. So fill your glass up and raise your glass up and say I love you with your final living breath. I love you so much. Return to me.
Said the Whale performing their new single, Return to Me, which is on the deluxe edition of Dandelion. We'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. When you were putting the album together, how did you decide on the final track list? In other words, what's the overall story and how do you best arrange the songs to tell that story?
Oh, that is an awesome question. Thank you for asking that question. I am like a firm believer in the album as a concept. I love albums. I love listening to albums from start to finish, and I love the intention behind track listings. For Dandelion, I wouldn't say necessarily that there's like a story, but I think there's definitely like a sonic arc that ties the whole record together. And full disclosure, we have a secret friend that for the last two records, we've sent him all of the songs and he's helped us arrange the album in a way that gives it the best sonic arc. And so we were pretty close on this one, and we sent it to our secret friend, and he made a couple tweaks, and that's how we landed on the on the track listing. I think it's awesome to have a very well thought out track listing because you get a journey. So there's a beginning, there's a middle,
Totally.
and an end.
Especially when you're listening to something on vinyl, for instance, because there's that moment where, after like song 5 or 6, you've got to flip the record. And I love when so much planning goes into it, and it's almost like that moment is almost kind of like an intermission when you're seeing a play, for instance, right? And then you come back and that first number kind of summarizes, in a sense, side A, and then it leads you on to the rest of the journey.
100%. It's like act 1 and act 2.
Yeah.
I love that. And I'm a musician, so I care about albums, but I'm a bit of an older musician, so that also could explain my love of albums. I sometimes wonder if younger musicians care as much, and I guess that depends on the person. I don't think there's no ageism in that comment. It's just sort of like an observation that I'm keeping my eye on.
Yeah. Well, this is Said the Whale performing another track off of their new album, Dandelion. This is Show Me Everything.
Someone tell me how to live, how to die, and what to do with my life. See a light and follow it all the way to the end and back again. I've got a lifeline tethered to the land. I'm at sea. Show me, oh, show me everything. Someone teach the world to heal, how to love, how to laugh at the end. Be a light, follow through to the other side and back again. I've seen a lifetime looking out for more, but I'm afraid. Oh, show me, oh, show me everything. Show me, oh, show me everything. Show me.
Said the Whale performing Show Me Everything off their new album, Dandelion. I have Tyler Bancroft from the band. March is a busy month for you folks. You're about to perform across the country. This is pretty exciting.
Is it? We'll see. It remains to be seen. My Instagram feed is full of like notes app announcements canceling tours. We are talking to the agents. We're seeing what's going to make sense. So yeah, fingers crossed that we're going to actually finally get to take this album on the road, because it came out at the end of October. We did a quick little week in the States with Tokyo Police Club, kind of in that November zone where everything was like feeling like it was going to be all good again. Yeah, hoping that by March things are back to normal-ish, but we'll see. It remains to be seen. If it's not March, it's going to be some other time.
Well, listen, we're keeping our fingers crossed. Like you said, it's going to happen eventually. Obviously, March is first choice. You've said in the past, and I love this, that you never travel without beef jerky. Is that still the case? Because when I heard that, I was just picturing everybody like loading a communal suitcase full of like Jack Link's beef jerky.
I feel like that is maybe an older quote. We sort of like go through different things that we love in the tour van. Beef jerky is awesome because it's like, high in protein. It's like, it's tasty. It fills you up. But the problem with beef jerky is it has a very pungent smell. And when you're trapped in the tour van, that's not always ideal or polite to your neighbor. So I feel like beef jerky has gone out of fashion a little bit in our band for that reason. But man, we haven't toured in so long. I forget what we eat in the van.
It's funny that you say that. It very much smells like farts. And I feel like depending on how hot it is inside the vehicle, it's kind of like unwrapping an egg salad sandwich,
Absolutely. Yes. You don't want to be stinky beef jerky person in the van.
Well, the good news is Dunkaroos are finally back on supermarket shelves. So if you're looking for
Really?
a classic, nostalgic snack, may I suggest Dunkaroos?
I am. I didn't know that. Thank you for the tip. That's very good to know.
All right, well, Said the Whale have a brand new single. It is called Return to Me. It is on the deluxe version of their new album, Dandelion, available February 11th. They will be in Toronto, fingers crossed, March 11th at the Axis Club. Tickets are available at edge.ca. Tyler, thank you so much for being here on behalf of the band. Thank you for making incredible music, and you are going to leave us with one more song. Tell us about February 15.
Yeah, this is a song that Jacelyn, our piano player, wrote for her husband on his birthday. His birthday is February 15th. So that's what the title of the song is. And she sent it to us sort of on a whim, like, hey guys, I wrote the song and we thought it was beautiful. And it just kind of marinated in our brains for long enough that we finally were like, okay, you know what? This actually needs to be on the record. We've never done an instrumental song before. We've never done a piano and orchestral song before. But it just felt right. And I think sitting in the middle of the album, it does provide that sort of intermission vibe, and it's beautiful. It's a very emotional song. It's a testament to the fact that music and melody can sometimes affect you even more than lyrics.
Well, everyone who's picked up a keyboard as their new hobby during this phase of the pandemic, I'm sure they will all be learning how to play this song.
Is that a thing people have done? I thought it was just sourdough.
I've got a couple of
and
buddies.
wine. Okay.
Well, listen, there have been stages, right? There was bread, there was the exercise bike, which will remain unnamed.
Right.
There was woodworking, I think, at one point, and now it's playing the piano. That's where we are.
That's cool. I'm down with that. I like that.
All right. Well, this is Said the Whale performing February 15th.